Hello on a Wednesday. What we're doing this week is giving you daily updates on what we're seeing as forecasters. And one of the headlines today is growing confidence. All this cold air, Arctic air that's up in Canada next week will in fact come spilling into Oregon and Washington.
Which is the first thing we need for snow.
Yeah.
If there's going to be snow, we need the cold first. So increasing confidence in that. Let's go ahead and take the graphics real quick. I want to show you something pretty staggering actually, that the first 7 days of January are running 9 degrees above average for the month so far. There you go, 9.1 above average.
Wow.
That's for just through yesterday. Obviously today will be a little bit above average as well. That's impressive. The last time we hit the freezing mark at PDX was the day after Christmas. That all changes, we think, next week. And I think Rod's going to go ahead and kind of dive into why we're thinking that.
Wow, you know, it was 58 yesterday at the airport. Was it last Saturday? We had 62.
Yeah.
That was at 9 o'clock in the night, in the evening, if I remember. All right, let's go ahead and take our main weather computer. Right now, for our director, we call it Weather 1. And, you know, we've been talking about all the cold purple colors. That's the Arctic air up in Canada. This is Sunday at 2 p.m. So right now, it doesn't look like we really have any low elevation snow this coming weekend. But notice on Monday, this is dinner time Monday, and there's that cold air starting to come down. And then watch it continue to push down Tuesday at lunchtime. And again, here's the cold air still hanging on a little bit, it looks like, Thursday noon. You see this little warm pocket right in here where I'm highlighting in the blue colors? That's actually a developing low. And the problem with the developing low is it actually will pull an east wind toward it. And that should, you would think, increase the flow of the Arctic air toward us. So the headline there is, yeah, we continue to see pretty cold weather. Now, there are all kinds of forecast models, and they come out anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 times daily, depending on the resolutions. This is a somewhat poor resolution map, but it goes out farther. So this is Monday at 6:30 of next week. All these blue colors, you see the purple and that salmon color, this is all some sort of wintry precipitation over Portland. The green is the red colors. Now, as I played this past Tuesday, this shows everything inland as being some sort of wintry weather, primarily snow. And you see this little black line. This is a line of equal pressure, what we call an isobar. And that's a low developing. That's that one low I just talked about that would produce the potential, you would think, of some significant snow as we go into maybe Thursday and Friday of next week. Anyway, and Chris, one thing that we both notice, if you look at these forecast models multiple times a day, when they give us precipitation amounts that could be snow, it's all over the board. One day it looks like, well, that could be a day it's snowing. The next day it looks like that could just be a cold day with blasting east winds.
Depending on the placement of the moisture in the storm track, right?
So that's the huge wild card right now. One
of the things that we like to see, though, when we say, hey, you know, we're sure about this or increasingly certain about it, is consistency in the models, right? So if we can bounce back to the other weather box here, I want to show you 2 different runs of the temperatures. And what is kind of interesting about this, you're looking at the forecast temperatures at the surface, and you can kind of see the color code up at the top. So that gives you kind of an idea of just how cold we're talking about here. This is Sunday morning, and you can see, okay, not so bad just yet. But once that kind of, let's call it the Arctic front, comes through Sunday night and Monday, look what happens to the temperatures here. And this is the GFS run. What's kind of interesting about this is that the GFS has been the colder of the 2 models.
And that's one of the American models by the National Weather Service, or NOAA.
So here we are Thursday morning. That's got us, you know, really, really cold on the west side of the Cascades.
What does that show, Chris? That would be what number?
Now, if you were to look up at the color code there at the top left-hand part of your screen, that could be temperatures in the teens in Portland. That's cold. I mean, that's really, really cold for this area. We talked about model consistency. The European model, which is the one that we're looking at now, has been a little warmer than the GFS, but it has been trending in the direction of the GFS. And that's what we're looking at here now, the run of the European model. Here we are Wednesday morning, and you can see it's cold. It's not as cold as the GFS, but it does bring, you know, single-digit air into the east side of the Columbia River Gorge, which means we're probably looking at gusty east winds. Yeah. And we're probably looking at a period of, you know, nasty wind chills, and certainly the reservoir for cold air in place to give us something to maybe watch for in terms of snowfall.
And you know, locals know our best chance to get a significant snow event, 6, 7, 8 inches, maybe a foot, our best chance to ever see that is typically we have cold air in place for days and days and days. The east wind machine starts to fire. Pacific storms come in from our west. The east wind blows towards that low, and all of a sudden all that Pacific moisture gets chilled and we have big amounts of snow.
Or freezing rain.
Or freezing rain sometimes,
right,
especially in the gorge.
So,
yeah.
One thing we're also pretty certain about over the next couple of days, not just looking forward to next week, but in the next couple of days, is that the Cascades are going to really benefit here from what could be feet of snow between now and, say, next weekend. And real quick, just why don't we fire up the ski report, just because I think it's been a day or two since we looked at that, and that's worth taking a look at because
it's
suddenly it's getting better. Look at that, Timberline pushing 60 and Mount Bachelor now up and over 3.5 feet of snow.
And Ski Bowl, you know, Lord willing, we'll finally see Ski Bowl open their main front slope for skiing and boarding, which so far they've just been able to get their tubing operation going.
And when we get air that cold, we know that we're seeing very low elevation snow. I mean, regardless of if we have valley snow, there will be snow at Ski Bowl, and all the ski resorts are going to benefit from that.
So right now, one of the things I noticed on the runs that came out this morning was also growing confidence that we could very well see a trend of at least well below normal temperatures potentially finish out the month of January. Pretty good stretch.
The Climate Prediction Center came out with their outlook for the 7 to 14 day range right mid-January, and we are in that kind of that bullseye of, you know, high confidence of below average temperatures. So we know we're going from +9 today to maybe -9 to balance things out by the end of the month. So
we'll see. You know, you remember February of last year, and I know this is getting long, but remember February of last year we had, wasn't that like 3 weeks where we had air cold enough more days than not for snow? And if you remember, it was the famous February where Beaverton was going, we got nothing. We didn't see anything. And then our good friends out on the east side, Gresham, Camas, Washougal, they had that one event that dumped 6, 7, 8 inches. But the point there was, just because you have a long stretch of cold air, that doesn't also guarantee snow. We found that out for many of us last February.
Which is why we'll be here daily, giving you the updates and giving you the kind of look about the behind-the-scenes look at what it is that we're looking at.
All right, say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.